Greetings from the broadcast. We are watching something that goes much beyond the confines of a conventional athletic competition, and the entire sports world is in complete amazement right now. We are discussing a profound change in pop culture and athletics. A phenomena so potent and unparalleled that seasoned international experts, commentators, and fans are at a loss for words. I need you to immediately dispel any preconceived notions you may have about tennis celebrity or the dynamics of audience support on the Women's Tennis Association Tour. The rules governing sports entertainment are being rewritten right in front of our eyes. A few hours ago, a huge bomb show was broadcast on national television, shocking people all over the world and taking over the internet during a popular tennis channel feature on TC Live. Everyone is in complete shock over a comparison made by prominent tennis pundits and former professionals. Alex Eala, the current tennis supernova from the Philippines, was not compared to another tennis icon by them. She was not compared to Martina Navratilova, Maria Sharapova, or Serena Williams. No. They likened Alexandra Eala's worldwide recognition, her ability to attract attention, and her devoted fan following to the world's greatest music star in a moment that is currently going viral on all social media platforms. They likened her to Taylor Swift. Take a moment to consider that. On a top international sports network, a 20-year-old Filipina tennis player who is now working her way up the world rankings is being openly and seriously compared to a global music sensation whose concerts physically register as small earthquakes. In the realm of sports, this segment blew out like a bomb. The pundits were completely enthralled, characterizing Alex's fanbase as an unquestionable, unstoppable worldwide phenomenon in addition to being supportive. They depicted a performer who not only attracts large crowds but also totally changes the ambience of each venue she enters. We are discussing the instantaneous transformation of routine early-round tennis matches into electrifying, deafening pop concert environments. The commentators emphasized how Filipinos from all over the world follow her to every game, traveling for hours, flying in, and standing in line to see her. Compared to the energy surrounding some of the top players in the world right now, the energy she brings to the court, or rather, the energy her supporters bring to her matches, creates an atmosphere that is unquestionably more intense, noisy, and emotional. And let's discuss Alex's current professional position. Because this Taylor Swift analogy is perfectly timed. Alexandra Eala is now ranked 31st in the world, which is a career high. In the esteemed WTA 1000 events, she is formally a seeded player. She is riding the enormous momentum of a spectacularly successful quarterfinal run in Dubai, where she defeated elite competition and demonstrated that she truly belongs among the elite, and she has a coveted first-round bye into the Indian Wells Tournament's Desert Oasis in California. She is unquestionably at the pinnacle of her young career thus far, playing the best tennis of her life and seeing her reputation soar to unprecedented heights. But don't be fooled by the bright lights, the boisterous crowds, and the viral TV clips. There is a very intense and dramatic fight going on behind the scenes, hidden beneath the brilliant glitter of this newly discovered superstar status, the constant social media acclaim, and the Taylor Swift comparisons. This has not been a simple straight-line route to success. This is an incredibly resilient story. We are examining a young lady who had to overcome the intense heartache of early, terrible defeats in the major events. We are discussing the painful early exits in Qatar and in the Australian Open. Losses that instantly set off a cacophonous chorus of detractors and naysayers who publicly questioned her stamina, questioned her consistency, and questioned whether she actually had the physical and mental toughness to endure the demanding, harsh schedule of the professional tourer. She has had to endure the intense heat of dealing with unbearably high pressure. Imagine being 20 years old and all of a sudden having to carry over 100 million people's hopes, goals, and urgent sporting ambitions. She has to cope with overwhelming crowds that are incredibly encouraging but also pose a serious risk of burnout and a terrible degree of expectation. Alex is working hard every day, hitting hundreds of practice balls, putting up with intense physical training, and striving to leave a lasting legacy in the WTA. The expectations that come from the Philippines and the Filipino diaspora around the world seem like a huge, never-ending spotlight. She is no longer only seen as a bright young athlete because the story has changed so significantly. In terms of sports celebrity and cultural influence, she is actively being transformed into a national idol and put on the same untouchable pedestal as icons like Michael Jordan and Manny Pacquiao. Today's replies on the internet are a chaotic combination of intense disagreement, incredulity, and complete chills. On the one hand, her hometown is actually keeping up with international A-list celebrities in terms of crowd-pulling ability, which has people giggling uncontrollably and getting goosebumps. International analysts firmly believe that she is a legitimate rock star who is driving up tennis attendance and opening up new, extremely profitable markets for the sport. However, you have very worried voices on the same time frame. Concern over the extraordinarily heavy load being placed on our young shoulders is growing. People are afraid about becoming burned out. They fear that one person may not be able to manage the aspirations of an entire country, while still navigating the challenging and competitive world of professional tennis. Unquestionably, this quick parallel has completely upended the tennis world. Everyone has been forced to acknowledge that in terms of pure passionate crowd engagement, Alexa is now a greater box office attraction than giants like Aryna Sabalenka or even Iga Swiatek. Even when she is only sitting in a typical news conference, she is creating a football stadium frenzy that gives you chills, negating the conventional WTA buzz and taking attention away from the established players. We are seeing a reality where the viewership numbers for her simple media availabilities are dwarfing the numbers of the sport's highest-ranking elites. Alex Eala has emerged as the new indisputable focal point of the sports world, rising from the depths of early-season failure to become the ultimate ray of hope. Her name is being called by the esteemed Indian Wells desert courts. We are seeing a really historic moment, and the entire Philippines is roaring with unrestrained pride. Now let's take a closer look at how we got to this momentous occasion and explore the enormous, multifaceted ramifications of this Tennis Channel decoration. In order to fully comprehend the seriousness of Alex Eala's comparison to Taylor Swift, we must look past the surface-level aspect of celebrity and delve straight into the intricate socio-cultural and athletic dynamics at work. A whole new matrix of popularity in the tennis world is being created by the clash of elite athletic performance with a vast, widely distributed populace yearning for a hero. The raw statistics and the indisputable fact that a crowd can exert power must first be carefully examined. The Taylor Swift analogy was brought up by Alison Riska-Matriage and other TC Live experts for reasons other than shock value. They were highlighting a very particular, measurable occurrence that has seldom, if ever, been observed to this degree on the WTA Tour. In the past, tennis has been a sport characterized by courteous clapping, respectful silence at rallies, and fans that typically support the well-known multi-slam veterans. However, that paradigm has been totally upended by Alexa. The Filipino diaspora follows her everywhere she goes. She is a human magnet, whether she is on the vast desert of California or the oppressive heat of the Middle East swing in Abu Dhabi, Dubai. The commentators were astounded, pointing out that these competitions, particularly in the Middle East, felt more like exploding pop culture festivals than conventional sporting events. The venues fill up much more quickly. The tour's atmosphere is drastically altered by the thunderous peaks in decibel levels and the sheer sight of thousands of supporters waving flags, yelling her name, and causing a complete frenzy. This is the reason the quick parallel is so important. The quantity of people is not the only factor. It has to do with how strongly people feel. It is about an audience that has a strong emotional connection to the performer's story, transforming each game into an intensely passionate concert-like event, and the statistics fully support the excitement. The internet is virtually cracking due to Alex's online buzz. Her post-match press conferences, which are often dull and ordinary for most players, are receiving far more views than the current world number one. This is a startling reality. You can tell you are working with a generational cultural icon when a player's press conference produces more web traffic and interaction than a highlight reel from a Grand Slam champion. She is expanding the WTA's reach into enormous, unexplored markets. She is transforming quiet, boring practice sessions in California into enormous must-see events that feel more vital, lively, and significant than other highly rated players' main draw matches. This is where her star power really shines through. It is both a great burden for the player and a terrifyingly potent advantage for the sport. This brings us to the incredible drama and sacrifice taking place behind the camera's flickering lights and the audience's thunderous yells. We must address the grueling, heartbreaking journey she has endured to reach world number 31. This season did not start off like a fairy tale. It was characterized by extreme hardship. Alex persevered despite experiencing severe heartbreaks at work. It was very difficult to accept the early, disappointing withdrawals from the Australian Open and the Qatar Open. A few poor weeks can quickly set off an avalanche of doubt in the infamously harsh world of professional tennis. The doubters were out in full force, casting doubt on her reliability, closely examining the shots she chose, and publicly questioning whether her physical conditioning could endure the harsh demands of the elite level. Due to her demanding schedule, frequent travel, shifting time zones, and the constant physical strain of competing against the world's strongest women, there were and still are grave warnings. For someone so young, all of this can result in severe burnout and terrible exhaustion. And this is precisely the point at which the intensely complicated story of career versus nation comes into play. The intense fan pressure is a dangerous double-edged sword, even when Alex has given her all to achieve huge milestones like those stunning jaw-dropping upset victories in Dubai that propelled her up the rankings. Yes, you get actual chills when you hear the cheers of the diaspora. They give players an adrenaline rush that can push them beyond their physical limits, But there's also a deep, never talked about loneliness that comes with being the only attention of millions amid constant, loud hoopla. The sheer burden of bearing the nation's ideal appears to have injured her. When we say that she is on par with Michael Jordan or Manny Pacquiao, we are referring to a degree of celebrity that goes beyond athletics. Every time Pacquiao entered the ring, he represented the pride of the Philippines. The entire nation would practically come to a halt. There would be no more crimes. There would be no more traffic. Now, a 20-year-old tennis player is being violently targeted by the same oppressive, uninspiring degree of national attention. There is a tremendous emotional burden of this extraordinary celebrity hidden behind her radiant smiles and the polite waves of the audience. Reactions to her previous matches in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, are a powerful blend of incredulity and sheer happiness. The stadia are clearly changing, which is giving the fans the chills. When Alex is set to play, they fill up much more quickly. The crowd does not support the top seed, even when they are up against the top seeds. For the Filipina supernova, they are present. But this deeply ingrained, fervent support raises a number of conflicting worries about possible fatigue. Young prodigies who are pushed too hard too quickly by the overwhelming pressure of public expectation have shown us what happens. Professional tennis's mental health component is more important than ever, and handling this degree of scrutiny requires a tremendous amount of psychological fortitude. However, the entire world is in awe of her extraordinary maturity in managing this intense limelight. She communicates with a tactical brilliance, grace, and humility that totally belies her age. She admits the pressure. She gives a crowd a hug while maintaining a laser-like focus on her work. The dynamics of tennis business and attendance are being drastically altered by Alex Eala. She is the rock star that the WTA sorely needs to boost event attendance in completely untapped markets. More significantly, she is radically changing the perception of what young athletes from Southeast Asia may achieve. A huge new generation of young Asian athletes are being inspired by her alone, and they now see a realistic route to the pinnacle of a sport that has traditionally been dominated by North America and Europe. Her tale is no longer limited to athletics. It is a global cultural story about perseverance, representation, and the incredible strength of a community coming together to support their chosen leader. The stakes are literally higher than they have ever been when we consider the immediate future. Indian Wells, a wide sun-drenched desert, is calling and preparing for what might be the most anticipated tournament of her early career. Alexa has won a much sought-after first-round purchase as she enters the esteemed BNP Paribas Open at a career-high ranking of world number 31. She is no longer the courageous underdog persevering through qualifying. On the WTA 1000 stage, she is a well-known sitting threat. She is awaiting the outcome of the bout between Diana Strica and seasoned veteran Zhang Shui. You can also be sure that millions of people will be watching that match in the second round. The Philippines as a whole is prepared. The diaspora around the world is mobilized. Already the roar of pride is growing. The day the entire world witnessed our tennis star Alexander Eala's elevation to the level of music royalty on worldwide television solidified what we are seeing as a really historical occasion. To be compared to Taylor Swift is to be acknowledged as a force of nature, a magnetic anomaly that draws people from all over the world and transforms every place into an enormous, unforgettable show. There is no indication that this conversation will calm down after spreading like wildfire. The fact that the international community is finally realizing that Alex's drawing power is already catching up with and, in many cases, surpassing has the fan base ecstatic. The world's greatest athletes and superstars of the day. However, we must keep in mind the high drama, the tremendous sacrifice, and the heavy load she bears when she enters those harsh California courts. For her career, she is fighting. She is defending her nation. She is also struggling to keep enjoying the game. The world is watching, utterly enthralled by her maturity and unquestionable brilliance, amid a wild maelstrom of unparalleled celebrity. Tennis will never be the same again because the wave is officially global. I sincerely appreciate you coming along for this tremendously in-depth look into Alexandria's incredible ascent. Would you like me to provide you a thorough explanation of her possible route to the finals and an analysis of her forthcoming opponents if you want to be fully informed about her voyage through Indian Wells and keep following this historic chapter in sports history?